H&D, the hand, and we are continuing our Lord Windgrace deck search. It's gotten a little bit more specific since last time. So I've stopped the commander search temporarily. I've gotten back onto Lord Windgrace. I found some interesting card interactions that I really like. And we were doing a sacrifice search to see if there was anything worthwhile. And we're gonna find out. So here we go. Sacrifice a creature or sacrifice a contamination. Whatever lands tap for mana produces black. So that was non-type. I really want to play contamination just because it's cruel and unusual. But it's not always relevant in some games. I don't know how many creatures I will have, but let's toss it in. Could be much easier just play land destruction though. Honestly, in the way the deck is being put together. Rust counters, that seems lame and terrible. Cosmic Larva. Beginning your upkeep, sacrifice Cosmic Larva unless you sacrifice 2 lands. That is epically terrible, and you can't play it until you have a beneficial effect. So Cosmic Larva is like a turn, I don't know, 6 play. I don't know. I don't think it's worth it on turn 6. I don't think so, but maybe as a land sack enabler if you really need that. Sacrifice Mountain instead of playing Crash's mana cost. This is what we want to find. This is why I did this search. So Crash, boom. Destroy target artifact for free. All I gotta do is sack a mountain, which I'm super on board with. Which I might do that as soon as turn 1, honestly. Just because I need to stop my opponent. Alright. Crash. Under battlefield, under enchanted player's control, you create a 2/2 black zombie token with Decayed. Interesting. So you could do it to yourself if you want to, which would make total sense. Not sure why this came up. The word, oh there, the word sacrifice is right there. Okay. It can't block. When it attacks, sacrifice it at end of combat. That's what Decayed does. Okay. Well, you could still get a lot of zombies in a pretty good succession, so that's not bad. Death Cloud! Death Cloud for the win. Each player loses X life, doesn't matter. Discard X card, doesn't matter. Sacrifice X creatures probably also doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is the lands. That's what you play Death Cloud for. Everything else is a bonus. It is expensive. Like, you're gonna probably pay 6 for it, so you're only hitting 3 lands, which is honestly aggressively fair. Only hitting 3 lands. Desolation. Turn sacrifices a land. If the plane sacrifices away, it's 2 of the plane's controller. So I don't have any planes, so I'm cool with that. Yeah, each player you tap a land for mana this turn. Sacrifice it. So it's just 1. It's just 1. Oh, it hurts them on your turn if they counter spells. That's fun. So Sacrifice artifact or land, draw a card. That's horrifically awful, and I've already added goblins that are cheaper and do that much cheaper. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player sacrifices a non-basic land. So, Destructive Flow is pretty much the same thing as Desolation. Desolation's a little bit more punishing. It's really, really fair. So I don't know if I want really, really fair. But it happens to your opponent right away. But you can't play this again until you get your land return engine going. Number of mountains plus, that's not effective for anything. I could have 2 mountains, so... Just sacking green or white permanents. Definitely not worth it. Way too color specific. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've played hate cards like that in decks before, and they work, but then you have a dead card in your hand for many games. Power 2 or less, so a mana dork, then they reel it in, you make them discard something, and then exile target opponent's graveyard. That is really mediocre. This effect could completely fizzle, so no. Antis Restoration. Yeah, search your library up 2 base land cards, put them on double tap, then shuffle your library. Well, you got sack land too, but if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, instead search your library for the 3 basic land cards with a battlefield tapped. So that's a thing. Oh, what does the next card say? For all combat damage that target creature would deal this turn, if you pay the kicker cost, for all combat damage, another... No. No. Absolutely not. That is like the height. Like, Plane Chase. I think this... Not Plane Chase. Might be Plane Chase. And, the Apocalypse block was like the height of, really weak cards that are really, really specific. Or kind of the end of it, if you want to look at it that way. That comes in play, changes for land every hand. Nope. Second land, gets +2 and gets further in turn. Plays well. Nope. Okay. We're going the distance on this. So let's see. You don't need to play Fulminator Mage. I mean, you can. You could. I don't know why, but you could. There are bigger, better effects you can play than Fulminator Mage. Furnace of Celebration seems terrible because you have to pay 2. So that's a big maybe. It's like, yeah, I can sack a land, but I don't really want to pay mana for the effect. Fidehorn Pollen, all creatures get -1 on turn. Probably not. Swamp. comes. So you got mountain, swamp, island. You're not gonna have any islands, so. What does it say? Sacrifice a snow mountain. Prevent all combat damage that will be dealt this turn. Well, oh my god, red. Thank you, really old red cards, for beneficial effects that are absolutely not going to go in this deck, but that is a super great idea for a 2-color or single-color red deck. So that is being tossed around to remember for a while. So, and there's Haro. It's really questionable how many of these you really need, if they're actually all that good, and really questionable. You are synergizing for extra value, yes, but could you just play Cultivate? Like, what does this do? Something ridiculous. Blue creatures can't block creatures you control. Okay, whatever. Non-blue creatures can't block creatures you control unless their controller pays 1 for each blocking creature they control. 1 life. They're gonna pay the 1 life unless they can't. That's what I'm gonna say there. Oh, Hecatome. I remember seeing Hecatome before. Hecatome is a absolute heartthrob in mono black. Absolute heartthrob. Not in this deck though. Not in this deck. Not 3 colors. You can make everything a swamp, but really debatable if that would actually make the cut. I mean, you gotta sack 4 creatures. That's a huge number of creatures to make Hecatome function. And there are easier ways to win. I'm not a fan of Hellish Rebuke. These type of effects tend to leave you dead. Don't turn permanents to your opponent control game. When this permanent deals damage to a player who casts Hellish Rebuke, sacrifices permanent. Well, you're probably dead. Just to be real. What is this? Fake. Moo. Target player sacrifices an artifact or creature. Hit deals damage to that player equal to that permanent's mana cost. So they get to choose. Run. Attacking creature control costs 1 to turn for each other attacking creature. So no thanks. Sacrifice a card in play, draw a card. So anything. Oh, that's really lame that they errated that to non-token permanent. Still functions in the deck, but that's really lame. Then again, triple black is tough. You really don't want to play anything triple color unless it's amazing. Sacrifice all permanents, discard your hand. Oh god. Sacrifice all permanents you control and discard your hand. Target player loses 5 life. That is insane level not worth it. I don't care if you triple this, double this somehow. No way. No way. Sacrifice 2 lands, destroy target land. I mean, I guess you could. Doesn't tap like army ants, I guess, but I don't know. I don't know about that. Again, your land engine would have to be really on point. You play this card's card. Check play a sacrifice creature. I mean, he's literally on the veil. I don't need them to discard cards. I don't care if they have cards in their hand. They can keep those cards and never play anything. Additional cost to cast Magma Rift, sacrifice land. Deals 5 damage to target creature. That is pathetically slow at sorcery speed. Sacrifice land, deals 1 damage to creature without flying. Hot garbage, but maybe? Maybe? We want to keep our options open. Even if they are immediately going to be tossed out. Like this. Oh, Mayhem Devil. Yes. Mayhem Devil is a very good inclusion. Potentially. Depends on how much sacking we're doing. I don't think it's going to be crazy. That's the thing. I think it's mostly going to be land interaction. Sacrifice creature or land. Draw 2 cards. Target player sacrifice permanent. Yeah. I played Ye Old Misguided Rage. It is okay. It is very okay. They're just gonna sack something they don't need. I really don't want to sack 2 mountains to make 2 goblins. That seems extra awful. Yeah. Eagles, converted mana cost of sacrifice permanent. That'll do. You can play Necromancy. There's no reason why you can't. So you go in the Graveyard Return direction. God, that has a lot of rata text. Even no, triple green, not worth it. You could play Plague Boiler in this deck. That's fun. When Plague Boiler has 3 or more plague counters on it, sacrifice it. If you do, destroy all non-land permanents. So you get 1, and then you're on a clock, essentially. I mean, you probably have 6 mana, So you put it out, you pump a counter, you blow the board at your next turn. But whether or not that's too slow or not is kind of up to you. And we got classic Pox. Each player loses a third of their life. This card is a third of the cards in their hand. They sacrifice a third of their creatures they control. Sacrifice a third of their lands. Round up each time. So that's fun. Could play Pox. Goes life, hand, creatures. Ba-boom. Sack a creature. Why would I want to do that? I really don't think I'm going to be sacking this many permanents a turn. This implies that I am doing some serious sacking. Like every turn I'm like blowing my board. Which, the only thing that'll let you do that is a white deck where you have what left the battlefield this turn, return all. So Ragamuffin is seriously questionable. Sack creature land only on Hellbent. That seems awful. Oh, Renewal, the worst sack effect from Homelands that draws you a card. Probably not, but it's an option. Royal and Regrowth. It does say, Renewal does say basic land, so it's not doing you any favors. Destroy target attacking creature for sacking 2 lands. Oh man. Oh man. Sandstone Deadfall. Probably not, but it's there. Here's like the 4th sack lands tutor for basic effect. You really don't need all these. You really don't. I don't want to play Stone Shaker Shaman. It's garbage. Beginning of each player's turn, that player sacrifices an untapped land. Whatever. They can just tap it. Who cares? So Sunstone for that red deck, I guess. More snow-covered nonsense. So ugh, really? One day? No, none of this. No, thank you. Nope. Really? Swamp hate? I mean, they're not going to take the 3. They're going to put a -1/- counter on something unless they don't have it. And then none of this matters. I don't even care if you make everything a swamp. So... Thunderclap! Ba-boom! That is the power level you want. You want free 3 damage for sacking a mountain. Thunderclap! Ba-boom! So you got sack mountain, deal 3 damage, destroy an artifact. I think there's another one, so... Oh god, do I really want to read this? I bet it's gonna be awful. Not playing for anti, okay. So you got Provisioner, which directly keys into your deck and could get you 2 treasure tokens per land sacrifice. You got Tracker, which gets you draw effects for lands, so that's a plus. You could make rocks. You have to equip a lot of creatures. That feels super expensive. It costs 2. Well, it's 2 for 2 damage. It's technically fair. We're not really looking for fair. Trucks, chant. During a black, I just chant. Never play what's the force and play. No, that's the opposite, and that's not relevant. I don't want to deal with this. It's you could literally do both of the spells, but it's not worth it. Like, it's just not. Yeah, it's just not worth it. Crazy amount of text. Not worth it. Plant tokens for lands in graveyard. Sacrifice 3 creatures. Return target land from your graveyard to your hand. Probably not. Like, probably not. During your upkeep, look at top card of the library, and put the card in your graveyard, sacrifice land, you gain 2 life. Yeah, I mean, it's on flavor, but it's awful. To surveil 1. Apparently it's been errated already as a new card. I don't know. Each opponent sacrifices a creature. Instead, each opponent sacrifices half their creatures he or she controls rounded up, which I don't care about that. That if I'm gonna blow the board, I want to blow the board. So really, Wave of Terror? That's so weird. That would take forever. Snow swamps. Getting the end step, no creature on the battlefield, sacrifice. Snow swamp restricted? That's tough. I mean, you could play Yavimaya Elder. You can't play land. Sacrifice land, draw 2 cards, activate only once each turn. Oh, only once each turn? Come on, man. Aggressive mining. That is not worth it until like really late game. Or unless you have the synergy going. Doesn't stop lands from being put on the battlefield by a spell or ability. It only stops the special action of playing a land. Okay. So you can still Windgrace them onto the field. So you Windgrace, draw 2 cards. Windgrace, draw 2 cards. Rinse, repeat. Tap, sack a land, draw a card for 6. Seems awful. So there's that. I mean, this is just random chance. Like, it's not great. I don't feel like doing random chance in this deck. Unless it's like discard, draw, random chance. Even then, I really don't want to do that because it's terrible. Avalanche Riders. I'm actually not looking for pure land destruction, just has to sacrifice. So... destroy target non-land permanent and opponent control. Search your library for 4th card, but tap. Creature control gain. So, I guess if it's sorcery speed, destroy all is good. You could play that. I don't know if it is. Maybe. The first 2 effects are good. The 3rd effect is super irrelevant. Braids is banned. Target creature's controller cannot cast summon spells. Wow, Old Red. That is... there is some serious hate in Old Red. Weird. You could play Dampening Engine. But the problem is, I feel like you would be the person that controlled more permanents than everybody else. So I guess it's just a guaranteed sack effect for the most part. Unless you want to sack your permanents on purpose to screw with your opponent, which I'm on board with that. So, wow, the rare +2/+2 counter. So, eh. Hold up. We gotta read this. Sacrifice a non-token permanent. If you do, target opponent loses 2 life unless that player sacrifices a permanent or discards a card. You may repeat this process any number of times. Well, if I'm being honest, that's pretty good overall. Like, if you want to nuke your board, do I just like sack and repeat, or if you choose to repeat this process, you repeat the effect, but do not get to pick a different target for the opponent. You choose target opponent on casting. You sacrifice during resolution, not during casting. So, okay, so I think I can just sack, repeat, sack, repeat. I think I can do it in slow motion. I don't think you have to do it all at once. So, yeah, slow motion. So this is pretty spicy. Unless I sacrifice permanent or discard a card. If anything, you could just use it to mess with people. It's pretty spicy overall. Sack 5 lands. That's kind of high. Search your library for a land card of each basic land type. And, well, that is unplayable, unfortunately. So. Oh, that's fake. In the battlefield, create number of food tokens equals number of pawns you have. So 1. Sacrifice non-land permanent. It's the end of turn. Oh my god, that's awful. Sack a forest. Add 3 mana in a combination of red or, well, it does cost 4. I don't know about this. I don't know about Goblin Clear Cutter at 4 mana. You can probably play better stuff. Just saying. In your SF, you may have Goblin Rage runs deal damage equal to the number of physical counters on it to target player or planeswalker. So probably not. That is not advantageous. I mean, I could sack 2 lands for 4 mana and deal 2 damage. That's kind of really iffy. I mean, it stacks, like you can keep going, but it's really iffy. Oh god. It's repeatable sack 2 mountains, great goblins. That is crazy bad. And they die when people block. So they deal 5 damage. That's... We're gonna skip that. This is a iteration of the deck, so that's gonna be in. I mean, unless you hit 20, this thing sucks, so... Large pox, You could play Last Laugh. You could do that, because whenever another last laugh put a creature from the battlefield, last laugh deals 1 damage to each creature and each player. When no tokens are on the battlefield, when no creature on the battlefield, sorry, last laugh. So you could play this. It's not great, but you can play it. Works way better in something that generates tokens. So yeah. I don't want to read Lich. It's awful. Lich's Tomb. Nope. Three damage to a creature player. If kick across the page, does 3 damage to another. Oh god, six damage for sacking 2 lands. How about no? There is Mind Collapse. So you can't do it on your opponent's turn, which is a bummer, but it's still a surprise as a free. 5 damage is nothing to laugh about, like if you really need it in a pinch. Let's see. Natural balance. What does natural balance do? Each player controls 6 or more lands, chooses 5 lands they control, and sacrifices the rest. Each player who controls 4 or fewer lands may search their library for up to X basic land cards and put them on the battlefield where X is 5 minus the number of lands you control. Then each player who searches the library... Oh god, you can technically play natural balance. That's so rough though. So each player controls 6 or more lands, chooses 5 lands they control, and sacrifices or less. So that part's not quite as relevant. The second part's relevant. Each player who controls 4 or fewer lands may search their library for up to X basic land cards, or put them on the battlefield where X is 5 minus the number of lands they control. So X is 5 minus the... So you can get 5 lands. So if you kill all your lands, you could put 5 basic lands into play. Which... I really don't want to kill all my lands. I don't... That is a dangerous gambit. Dangerous gambit. Yeah. What does this trash do? Whenever you lose life, for each one life you lost, sacrifice a permanent, other than unless you discard a card, pay 2, draw a card. No. Oh no, overlaid terrain. Oh no. You could play it. It's an option. Just like natural balance is an option. It's probably terrible, but it's there. As much as I want to play Phyrexian Obliterator, 3 black is difficult. 4 black is probably impossible, honestly. I've had issues in 2 color decks playing 4 black. Reprocess! It's probably on the reserve list or something, because it hasn't been reprinted in forever. Sacrifice any number of artifacts, creatures, and or lands, and draw a card for each one sacrificed this way. So you blow your board, draw a bunch of cards, and if you have a really clutch way to return those lands, value. I don't know, it's not that good. It's probably not on the reserve list, but this picture is way better. Artifact creatures and or lands, yeah. Rise of the Witch King is really powered up if you interact with it in the way I'm thinking of, like just straight up free crazy permanent from graveyard for 4, which technically it's on curve, but you get added value. Skip shift. Oh, sacrifice all your permanents again. I'd rather not, but it's there along with Scape Shift. Scape Shift being way better by a lot. By a lot. What am I doing with these counters? Not much. Oh man. It's another 4-drop destroy non-land permanent. Yeah, you gotta sack a creature, but not bad. Sack creature, cascade. Maybe. I feel like cards like this will get cut. It's just they are thought processes that I need to go through. Treasure token, not worth it. Ooh. Ooh, you could play Smokestack. Beginning of your upkeep, you may put a soot counter on Smokestack. Beginning of each player's upkeep, that player sacrifices a permanent for each soot counter on Smokestack. That's dirty and I love it. So... This fake. What is this? Squirrel Wrangler. Nope. Really old and real. Second land. Put 2 green squirrel creature tokens in play. So that's better than sacking 2 mountains. Second land. All squirrels get well, you could play Squirrel Wrangler. Ping your end step, create a 1 token when if you control exactly the permanents, raise price uprising. When you do some damage to any target. Token generation? I don't know if I really want to go the direction of token generation. I can. That feels more Zeatora than Windgrace, though. Pay 2 life, sack a swamp, put target creature card from your graveyard into play. Strands of the Night has never ever really been playable. I wonder if I could make it playable. Because you really don't care about sacking the swamp. Unless you don't have a swamp. Ooh, Tainted Aether. Ooh. Creature or land. Tempest of Free. How terrible is this? No, I'm not playing for Anti, so there's that. Is this playable? I mean, sort of. I mean, they're just going to lose the 3 life. So that side's irrelevant. You may put that card wherever. I mean, sort of. Maybe. Can we flip us to the relevant part? Okay. Maybe. Each player sacrifices land for each card in his or her hands. This is below the board, land wipe. Let's just read the errata text on that other card, because it is a little bit blurry and terrible. Eh. Chain players upkeep. If I lose realize when they sacrifice a non-land permanent or discard card. That's another effect that does that. That's not worth it. Just not worth it. They're gonna do whatever benefits them. I don't care if it's repeatable. You can make 3/3s from sacking mountains. I don't really want to sack mountains to make 3/3s. So... This is just awful. It's just awful. So. I don't know if I'd play Yawgmoth in this deck. Maybe. Whenever a creature is put into a graveyard from play, that creature's controller sacrifices a land. You could play Burning Sands. 2 lands from play. Place ability only during upkeep, only a couple in graveyard, and only if you control a swamp. That's a lot of words for a 3/3. Oh no, Copper Angel, sack X lands, put X+1/+1 counters on it for 5. How about no? How about no? I mean, we were going to find some really bad stuff. Alright, we're on page 6. We're cruising through pretty fast. No, junk. Oh god. Here's another one. God Eternal Buntu. Enters the battlefield. You may sacrifice any number of other permanents, then draw that many cards. Oh man. You can play Greater Harvester, maybe. So. I guess you don't need to play Reprocess, because Buntu is better by a lot. This costs 5. And 5 drops are tough. Here's another one. Hue the Ant would sacrifice any number of lands, reveal the top X cards of your library, versus the number of lands sacrificed way, choosing artifact and land cards, reveal this way, put all non-land cards chosen this way on the battlefield, then put all land cards chosen this way on the battlefield tap, put the rest of them in order. So this really forces you to play some artifact creatures, which is not a problem, but if you don't, all you're hitting is lands and mana ramp for the most part. What does this do? Sack a swamp or generate target black creature. Nope. And blow most of the lands. Sacrifice another permanent. Yeah, you would 100% play Korvold in the deck. You could even have Korvold as the commander if you rearrange the deck. It's really versatile. Like, Korvold could be in Zeotora, it could be in this deck, it could be the commander. It's all about how you want to like build out, essentially. And the value proposition on Korvold is just stupid high. Like, draw a card for sacking a permanent. So, yeah. Maybe. I haven't played Minion Reflector in a really long time. I don't know if I have a reason to give artifacts on Earth. Can't play that. That's blue. Blue. Perilous Forays is really not for this deck. It's way more creature sack focus Zeotora than does land sack focus Windgrace. But they're available and not bad. It's crazy how underpowered Primal Force is these days. It really is. It's so underpowered these days by comparison. And as a rule, when you deck search, get all the ideas. If you have more than one deck in mind, just pick out cards, throw it into the pool, forget about those cards for a while, and when you're doing the cut down, remember them. So, that's super not worth it. I like the art. Oh, interesting. Another sack. Throw effect. That's fun. That's really good, actually. I already got that. Tokens for nothing. Select another creature playing Valkyrie. Do draw 2 cards, then draw another card if the sacrifice permanent was a commander. That's probably not happening. Yeah. That's why I have that notepad. I never know what's going to come up. Oh boy, Get Rog Monster. In your upkeep, sacrifice, get monster on the second land. You can sack a land in this deck. You can play additional land each your turn, sure. Draw a card for when they go in the graveyard. So there's not much downside there. It synergizes like all the way. Oh, I have bad indigestion right now. Oh boy. Ugh. I mean, the Mending of Dominaria takes 3 turns, which makes it kind of trash for taking 3 turns. It's available, but very questionable. Uh, 14 treasure tokens. I don't know about this. Definitely not in Windgrace, but Ziatora might like that. It's, yeah. It's available for silliness and 14 treasure tokens. We're not playing Tornado. What does this do? Oh god, really? Players can't play lands. Lands can't enter the battlefield. At the beginning of each upkeep, any player may sacrifice 2 lands or have Worms of the Earth deal 5 damage to that player. If a player does, either destroy Worms of the Earth. Well, They're gonna take the 5 damage. It's probably terrible, but it's an option. It is. Oh, sack 3 lands for what? Destroy target creature or return target creature from your graveyard to play for 6 at instant speed. I feel like you can already do that without playing something so crappy for 6. You could destroy a creature and return a creature card from your graveyard to play. I feel like this exists already. Cheaper, better. I swear it does. Booby Trap is just some random fun card for weird, quirky decks. Not this deck. So, choice of damnations. Target opponent chooses a number. You may have that player lose that much life. If you don't, they sacrifice all but that many permanents. It's quirky, but generally terrible. Let's read our link in a friendly way. I can pay the 2. Ooh, Earthlink is dirty. Whenever a creature dies, that creature controller sacks a land. That's dirty. Hellcarver deals... no. Sacrifice all the permanents you control and discard your hand. Except discard your library. You may cast any number of non-land cards exile this way without paying your mana cost. That is... just doesn't function in this deck. Like, I don't care how much return we have. That doesn't function. Draw a card for creature. Probably Zeotora. That is a good card for Zeotora. Or even -4. I might not even have creatures. So each player sacks 2 creatures. That might be a good card for my deck. Oh, it's real. Rather not. Nature's Wrath. I used to play this as a hate card. Oh, this is just repetitive hate. You don't need this. You really don't. Sack 2 mountains, destroy all artifacts. I am on board with pulverize. I will absolutely do that in a pinch. Absolutely. Free blow all artifacts? Yes, please. Die, 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 and die some more. We're not playing this. No. Too risky. Terrible for sacking 2 lands and Echo for 6. Like, really terrible? Oh, it's another weird land stop effect. Players can't play lands, but I can put them into play with Windgrace. Yup. This is good for a really long game. I mean, I could play Undercity Plague. It's really not the direction I want to go in, but I could. Attacks for each player. Choose target permanent the player controls. So me and my opponent. Attacks for each player. Choose target permanent player controls. Those players sacrifice those permanents. So each player who sacrifices this way reveals top card of their library and puts that card on the battlefield as a permanent card. So that is really chancy, and I don't like that. So. I get interrupted a lot. Nothing I can do. Sacrifice a mountain to 3 damage target creature. That's terrible. Sack a forest. Choose target player. Add 3. Costs 6 though. Like, who cares? It costs 6. For 6 mana, I can just play an artifact that taps for 3. Ooh, destroy a land. Ooh, battlefield under your control. If they control fewer lands than you, create a number of 4/4 green troll warrior creature tokens with trample equal. Oh god. Alright. Ability number 3, slightly relevant. So. Fewer lands than me. Yeah, they probably would. Ooh, random sack. No thanks. Rather not. You could play Wildfire, but the problem is it doesn't kill everything. The 4 damage is terrible. It really is. Wildfire is so unbearably outdated. You might play All Is Dust to get around certain indestructible effects. It's really good. I don't really want to play Archfiend of Spite. I don't really need them to sack permanents and or pay 7. And I really would dislike this being stolen from me, so we don't need to play this. We could play the green one if we want to do something like this. So. Nobody cares about Destructive Force. I'm not even giving it the time of day. Yeah, whatever. Nope. Nah. Absolutely not. No way. So bad. So bad. This is not worth it at 7. That's just absurd. I like the attack effect. There's no downside to that. Whenever an artifact is put into a graveyard from the battlefield or is put into exile from the battlefield, put 2 +1/+1 counters on Shard of the Void Dragon. So, I mean, it's a new card with 0 downside. It does cost 7, but 0 downside. We are almost out of pages. And what's our last page give us? For this search anyway. Sheldred, yep. For 7, you attack, they block, they have to sack a permanent. Not this deck, maybe Zeatora if I went that route. It's interesting at 7 that there's two things that do this. Different ways, but interesting. Titanic healing attacks each player who controls the most lands sacrifices 2 lands. I really don't need to do that. It might be me. You can play the Balrog and possibly cast it cheap if you have a big sack and cast it for 2. Dies, short target. Yeah, you could play that. Seven cards in your library. You may reveal a non-saga permanent card from one of them, put it in your hand, but there's another order. Put up 2 target non-saga permanent cards in your hand that built. That blows. For the most part. If you're paying 7 mana and green, you can do way crazier stuff. It's a very hard maybe. That's probably instantly getting kicked out, and just like a reminder of something else that meh. I'm gonna give it a meh. I don't want to play Tyrant to discard. That's I'm pretty sure I played this and it hits a land and nobody cares. So Wave of Vitriol is okay. The problem is you really gotta nuke planeswalkers if you're paying that much mana. Not worth it. You can do this at green for 4 mana, like without the drawback. Technically you could play Possess Portal, but it's awful. Like, you're already winning the game if you're playing Possess Portal, so yeah. It's win more. God, you could play Greater Gargadon and Curse of the Cabal if you wanted to. Rather not. I really don't think I need a perpetual sack effect. I think there's probably more than enough targets that I don't need to play Greater Gargadon and get a generic 9-drop. Eldrazi. Dragons. From your graveyard to your hand, huh? You could actually play this in Zeatora, because Zeatora itself is a dragon. It would reduce by 6. That's still terrible. That seems still terrible though, even with a -6. You'd have to cheat that into play. and then sack it to Zeatora for 10. Well, alright, where are we at? Bajillion cards and counting. I think in the next stream I will start a breakdown and start shoving things to the sideboard that I don't want, and probably get a good breakdown up here going of things that are great overall. I've already done a bit of a breakdown for myself, but we could make a better breakdown and kind of get moving on this. So we're going to save our deck, and we're going to stop for now because I need a break. Alright, so this has been Matthew over Channel 35, H&D, the hand. If you like the stream, please like, share, and subscribe, and also follow me on YouTube. And I will see you later. Bye-bye.